Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Courtney Dillon. I'm an intuitive and a medium, and welcome to a video about timelines. Stay tuned to the end of the video because we're going to do an exercise to feel into the timeline you are on and to move you to your next highest timeline. So think of a timeline as a bandwidth or a frequency, okay? Most people uh, are in the frequency bandwidth that they grew up in. So, this could be around being programmed around fear, not having enough, lack, having to live in survival, having to earn love. Okay, so these are just some possibilities. What begins to happen is as you move to higher consciousness, so as you wake up and you are, working to heal your past, you're working to let go of old patterns, and you are tuning into the frequency of who you really are and getting to know yourself. What can begin to happen is you experience a quantum timeline shift. So I'd like you to think for a moment of a timeline. So it's a bandwidth or a frequency, and you can think of it as an imaginal cord of light. Okay. So we're all kind of standing right now on our own personal timeline. And it's imaginal cord of light. And this cord of light stretches both back into the past. Okay. And all of the events that we have lived are recorded on this timeline. And it also stretches into what we would describe as the future. And as it moves into the future, I want you to think of that cord of light as extending into 1,000 luminous strands. Okay, so it's not just one possibility, right? And that we, through our choice points in each moment by moment choice point, by aligning with our heart, we are choosing a different timeline. Okay. And every action we take leaves a track in our timeline. And each strand moving into the future, what we would term as the future. So each strand moving into the future is a possibility. Okay. So when we begin to align with who we really are, we can actually start to dissolve the timeline we are on and move into a higher possibility or a higher frequency timeline. So this has happened to me several times. So I decided to come on here and make a video about it because my guides have been talking about how many of us are dissolving old timelines in this month of April. And so when you dissolve an old timeline, you can experience what looks like reality shifting very rapidly all at once. So it could be like suddenly you lose your job or you have to move, you feel like you were forced to move, or a relationship that you were in is no longer a match for you. When this begins to happen, you can have a series of changes all at once. And it can feel really kind of you feel kind of like not sure what's going on. It's like, what the heck is happening? All of these things that I relied on in my life for a long time, begin to leave. And while many people might see this happening as a negative, I want you to shift your perception in this moment and understand that when you wake up and when you begin to align with who you really are, you start to actually shift your timeline. So what you might experience at the beginning, what feels very uncomfortable and negative, is really you moving to a higher, moving to a, more desirable timeline, that one that it's like the desires of your heart, where you actually want to live, where you actually want to exist. So if you can, during this expansion, begin to see these changes through a neutral lens and begin to use statements like, I am shifting to my highest timeline. I am shifting to my highest timeline. So let's now do an exercise to feel into the timeline you are on and feel into your next highest timeline. Okay. So again, it's like we have these imaginal cords of light, this imaginal cord of light, and it's splintering off into 1,000 possibilities. And we have, through our choice point in each and every now, the opportunity to shift into a higher timeline. Okay. So right now, I want you to place your feet on the ground. Okay, let me make sure I'm doing that. So I invite you, I invite you to feel right now, close your eyes and take a deep breath. And I want you to see yourself standing in the center of the timeline you are currently on in this moment. And right now, I want you to imagine that you're doing this just from a place of noticing, from a place of neutrality. And I want you to feel into this question. If I stay on this timeline right now, as is, what does it look like? What am I currently creating? And allow yourself to receive this answer. Now, what if you allow yourself to tune into the probability a little above this one? So, timeline you're on, tune into the probability a little above this one. Stand firmly on this new timeline. Good. Notice the feeling. What does this timeline feel like? Notice any colors, sensations in your body. Notice if anything needs to change in order to stand firmly in this new timeline. Allow yourself to observe one change that you can make today to stand in the new timeline. Walk forward in the new timeline. Look around. Who's with you? What are you doing? Most importantly, how do you feel? Now, from here, feel into the probability above this timeline. stand firmly on the next highest timeline. Good. What does this feel like in your body? Notice what comes up. Does it feel exciting? Does it feel like relief? Does it feel a little scary? Take a moment and observe any colors, sensations, sounds, and start to walk with your feet firmly planted on this timeline. Notice who's with you. Notice how you feel. Notice the part of you that knows you are already there right now from this moment. I am already there. I am already on my highest timeline. Breathe into this new timeline. Notice how good it feels. Good. Consciously and directly come back to now. Make sure you pull yourself all the way back in your body. Take a deep breath. Notice your feet on the ground. Beautiful. When you're coming out of this exercise, I would encourage you to take a few moments to jot down anything that you observed on your highest timeline. Thank you.